Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. 2 late-round WR the Cowboys could draft this month. As we prepare for the 2024 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys have several holes to fill, and drafting a wide receiver will happen at some point. I would be the happiest man alive if Jerry Jones shut all of us up, traded up ahead of the Arizona Cardinals, and took Marvin Harrison Jr., but I will stop talking about that now because that is the last thing he would do. That said, I have looked at a few names in the draft that the Cowboys could take outside of the first round. They will likely go offensive lineman in the first round and running back or defensive in the second. The first guy I didn't watch much in college, but after looking at his highlights and others talk about him on social media, is Ladd McConkey, a slot guy from the University of Georgia. He didn't put up huge numbers in college, but playing behind CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks next season would do him well. He is 6 feet on the nose and 185 pounds. He played multiple positions while in college, and the more I watched his tape, the more I liked the guy. I don't even know if Dallas knows who will be the third guy this year. My guess would be Jalen Tolbert. He outsnapped Michael Gallup in 3 or 4 games last season. The next guy to watch is Zachary Franklin. If you don't know who he is, let me tell you. He is projected to go in the 7th round, but he started his college career at UTSA before transferring to Ole Miss a season ago. He only caught 4 balls last season, but he set school records during his time with the Roadrunners. In his junior season in 2021, he caught 81 passes for 1,027 yards and 12 touchdowns. In his senior season, he had 94 catches for 1,136 yards and 15 touchdowns. He set the college record for UTSA in all 3 categories in both years. Clearly, he struggled when he transferred, and some places say he was dealing with an injury that forced him to miss 3 or 4 games. These guys would fit with what the Cowboys are trying to do. Given the cap space and what has been happening lately, they want to go younger, and these 2 late-round wide receivers can give them a cheap option. This team lost a few starters and a lot of depth from a year ago. Does anyone really think that they will be able to make up for that in the draft? I hope I am wrong, but it is hard to see this team winning 10 games this season. They will be CeeDee Lamb dependent, have a below-average running game with a young offensive line. The back end might be okay with Trayvon Diggs's, and the others return even with Gilmore gone, but still. Time will tell. I am normally a bit more thrilled for the NFL Draft, but this year is down for me. I am disappointed in the way this offseason has went. They could have made cap space, and I hate that Jerry Jones talks the talk, but doesn't do anything to make the team better when he can. I would love nothing more than to be proven wrong, but this could be the last year we see Dak Prescott, Mike McCarthy, and maybe some others in Dallas. Micah Parsons and CeeDee Lamb might be the only 2 guys we have to look forward to on Sundays after the 2024 season, and it sucks they wasted the window that they had. Washington Commanders moves via Dallas Cowboys add speed, power, and wild card. The Washington Commanders did more than bring in 2 former Dallas Cowboys and a Super Bowl contender when adding to their defensive end group this offseason. By signing 3 new defensive ends and an outside linebacker, more on him in a minute, the Commanders have completely reshaped their edge defense strategy, and it could result in a welcome change from what we've seen in recent years. And it's all going to start with Washington hiring 2 former Cowboys defensive coaches, Dan Quinn and Joe Witt Jr., to spearhead this organization's new approach on playing winning football. From the start, Coach Quinn has emphasized style of play over scheme. It's not so important whether or not the Commanders employ a 3-4, 4-3, or any other canned defensive look video games like EA Sports Madden franchise have made so widely known, but how they employ them. How they do it starts with leadership mentality but has to run down to player mentality and create a fierce competitiveness that is as absent of self-appreciation and creates the need for the unit to succeed over the individual. If you turn on Armstrong's tape, you see exactly that. Not a man who is immune to celebrating making good plays himself, but one who prioritizes the unit's success over his own. In Week 12 against Washington, the Dallas defensive end was called upon to drop into coverage in the middle part of the field where a linebacker would usually be found. The Commanders, advantageously, had dialed up a screen play needing 11 yards for a first down. With 4 blockers and just 2 defenders about 5 yards downfield, you'd think Washington was in for a big gain and a first down. That is, until Armstrong hurled himself at 2 of the blockers, knocking one into the path of running back Antonio Gibson and creating an opportunity for his teammates to corral the ball carrier before he reached the sticks. Plays like that don't enter the box stats, but they make big impacts on the outcome of games. Unlike Armstrong, Farrell is a first-round pick with Super Bowl experience. What Farrell lacks in fluid movement and speed rush ability compared to Armstrong, he makes up for in his ability to set the edge and either set his teammates up to make plays, or makes them himself. Farrell isn't able to disengage from a blocker as often as you'd like, but there are several instances on film where he is able to make plays in the run game while engaged with a blocker, and even times where he uses the blocker to disrupt the play himself. Don't expect high sack production from him, but if a quarterback gives him time and he has the ability to straight-arm drive a tackle into the pocket, Farrell will get the job done. Fowler Jr. is the classic middleman in this equation. Not as fast or quick as Armstrong and not as powerful as Farrell, but right in the middle of both. You're more likely to see Fowler try and convert speed to power than a spin move or hit a quick outside rush win, but he's got enough bend in him to get around tackles and force opposing quarterback to step into the waiting arms of defensive tackles like Darren Payne. Cowboys predicted to add 39 TDQB to replace Dak Prescott. The Dallas Cowboys could soon prepare to land a quarterback that will eventually replace Dak Prescott. In a 2024 NFL mock draft compiled by CBS Sports, analysts Brady Quinn and Ledger Douzable put together a first-round mock draft where they alternate picks. The Cowboys are projected to select University of Washington Huskies quarterback Michael Penix Jr. with the 24th overall pick in the draft. Douzable, who made the pick for the Cowboys, argues that Dallas will land Penix as the eventual replacement for Prescott. This feels like the last season for Dak Prescott as the Cowboys starter, and while Penix isn't necessarily a quarterback who needs a redshirt year, he'll likely get one in 2024, writes Douzable. The upside is there, even though he's an older prospect, because of his big-time throw capabilities. Taking a swing at this game's most vital position is probably not the worst idea for the Cowboys now. Penix, who posted 36 passing and 3 rushing touchdowns while leading the Huskies to the national championship game, is quickly rising up draft boards. While he may not be considered in the first tier of quarterbacks, Caleb Williams, Drake May, and Jaden Daniels are expected to be the top 3 quarterbacks picked. One could argue Penix will be the 4th quarterback selected in the 2024 NFL Draft. The 23-year-old quarterback impressed during the NFL Combine, and he continued to raise his stock with his performance at Washington's Pro Day. Penix impressed with his athleticism, registering a surprising 4.53 40-yard dash time to go along with a 36.5-inch vertical jump and 10-foot, 5-inch broad jump. Prior to those performances at the NFL Combine and Pro Day, Penix was rarely mentioned as a potential first-round pick. Now, analysts are expecting Penix to be selected before the end of the first round. Per Bleacher Report's Jordan Schultz, one anonymous coach believes Penix has locked himself in as a first-round selection. Freak show. Dude runs 4.5 and then jumps 37 inches, the coach texted NFL insider Jordan Schultz. Arm strength is crazy in person. Locked in first-rounder. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, the Cowboys are a sleeper to select a quarterback in the first round. What are they going to do at quarterback if they lose Dak? That's interesting. And that's why I think the Cowboys might be a sleeper team in the quarterback market during the draft, ESPN's Adam Schefter said during an episode of NFL Live on Tuesday, April 9. And you, Fan, what do you think of the situation of Michael Penix Jr.? Leave your opinion in the comments.